All this week, our David Begnaud has been checking in with people whose stories he shared with you in recent years, and he's been asking them a simple but profound question. How are you now? You may remember Cecil Jackson of Houston, Texas. He was battling agoraphobia. It's a crippling anxiety that forced him to avoid public spaces. But Jackson was inspired to make a change after years of living in fear. Back in April, David followed him as he visited places and tried new tasks his illness had prevented him from doing. And now we are seeing just how far he's come.
I'm a 35-year-old Houstonian and I suffer from agoraphobia. I seemingly lead a normal life as a local store manager, but no one knows that I haven't traveled beyond a 1-mile radius from my home in over 10 years. My childhood was extremely limited due to my mother suffering with agoraphobia, and my adult years have been no different since my diagnosis at the age of 19.
You just read that on national television. How does that feel?
It feels freeing.
Finish the sentence for me. For me, agoraphobia is?
For me, agoraphobia is prison.
You work across the street from your house.
I do.
You eat across the street.
I do.
Tell me some of the things you've missed.
All of my sister's graduations, my niece's graduation, tons of birthday celebrations, 2 grandmothers' funerals, my sister's wedding. She sends me an email right as she's about to walk down the aisle. In the email, she said, I know that you would be here. I'm sorry, I haven't talked about this.
Cecil found an online lecture from Dr. Karen Cassidy, the owner of the Chicago-based Anxiety Treatment Center. This year, he emailed her.
While I have never met you, it became clear that you understand some of the challenges that many of us face. I want to reclaim my life.
Dr. Cassidy arranged for a Houston therapist to treat Cecil with online sessions. But he was not prepared for what we had up our sleeve. Meeting Dr. Cassidy for the first time in person.
You are the bravest man I know right now. I've been so excited to see you. I'm going to be your exposure coach today.
She flew to Houston at our invitation.
Tell her what you'd like to do.
I'd like to ride an escalator.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to the grocery store.
Part of Dr. Cassidy's therapy would be to provoke Cecil's anxiety by intentionally hyperventilating. That this is done to get him used to the sensation of panic and learn that he can handle it and teach his body to not respond with panic attacks.
So my goal isn't to make this easy.
Okay.
It's to step into the heat.
Okay.
And to discover you can take it, okay?
So where's the first place we're going, Cecil?
So the first place we're going to go is to the mall. We're going to ride an escalator.
He was last on an escalator 4 years ago.
So let's do it.
He'd rely on exercises to induce dizziness in order to push through.
Fantastic. You are acing this.
What did you feel?
The sweaty palms, the dizziness, the sensitivity to light. I think I stood there for like 3 minutes talking to her, 2 minutes talking to you, and it just subsided.
Next up was the grocery store. Now, Cecil hadn't been to one of those in 3 years, until now.
He is doing so well.
It's amazing. It's amazing to be here.
Lines overwhelm him. Even the smallest purchase was a big accomplishment.
Yes, 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 yes.
I think that sometimes when you suffer, you feel like nobody sees you. When you deal with agoraphobia, people write you off, and you're often hidden in the shadows.
We see you, Cecil. We see you.
Thank you.
That was almost 5 months ago.
How are you now?
Amazing.
What's changed?
One of the things I remember distinctly discussing with you or writing in the letter was about, those obligatory trips to the grocery store or Target, those simple things. And now that's just a part of my life. I'm learning to go towards fear. And I think that, honestly, the biggest thing for me has been really accepting the freedom that was always there. I just didn't know how to operate in it.
There's something about the way you're sitting and holding yourself that is even more confident.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I initially met with you, that my issue was just agoraphobia. And that if I only solved that, then that would be the answer to everything. Little did I know that opened the door to self-discovery.
What else have you discovered?
Who I am, what I like, what my hobbies are, the ability to say no, the freedom in saying, and the power in being able to finally say yes, to know that feelings aren't facts, to know that feelings aren't my ultimate authority.
Tick-tock through where you've been that you never would have gone to before you started on this journey.
To give a short list, I've been on the freeway, I've been to a preserve, I've been to a number of parks, I've been to visit friends. The list could go on and on. It has been absolutely amazing, and many of these things are things that just happened. They weren't planned. I just woke up and said, today, I'm doing what I want to do today.
But it seems to me you found the way to go inward and find that you have the answers to unlocking the issues you needed to unlock anyway.
You know, it's crazy. I always thought that I needed something, that there was something that was going to come and rescue me, whether that was a person or a thing, and I thought that that would be the magical thing that did it, and I waited for a long time for that thing to come. And what I discovered in this process is that the missing part was me. I needed me. And I hadn't connected that link. And when I realized that, I understood that everything that I needed was already inside of me. It had been there all along.
Is there a struggle or a boundary that you haven't been able to cross yet?
Absolutely. I want to be clear in that. It's still a process. You know, there are still things that I struggle with. Of course, there's still places that I haven't gone.
Such as? What are you still struggling with?
I haven't been on a plane. There's still places here that I have yet to go. But I think that for me, the difference now is that I'm okay with being afraid and still doing it.
I know it took a lot of courage to sit down and do the interview with us and to write to me in the first place and tell me your story. You feel like it was worth it?
Oh, absolutely. There was something so transformative about even that experience. For a long time, I thought that I could heal from this and then come back out and say, okay, look at what I went through and I never told a soul. I understood, for me, that I couldn't heal and hide simultaneously, and it's been absolutely amazing.
My job is usually asking people, sometimes many times, to tell their story. You came to me saying, I'm ready to tell it. And that was such a unique experience even for me to witness. I thank you for that.
I thank you with everything in me. I thank you. I think that this will be I know that this will be a moment that I will never forget. I know that my life has not been the same. It will never be the same. And I'm excited.
By the way, do you want to get on a plane?
Absolutely. First person I'm coming to see is you.
Oh, I see that coming in the future.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I said to him, how's your relationship changed with your family, right? And he said, rather than them calling me and saying, how are you? They call and they say, where are you now?
Oh, wow.
Going,
That's huge.
right?
I know, to think he didn't make his sister's wedding, but now can go into a grocery store or Target or whatever the case may be. That's a huge leap.
Yeah.
So the moment of change for him was that initial consultation with the psychologist?
It was a moment of change, but I want to be clear, Tony, he has spent the last 7 months in some of the most intensive therapy I've ever heard of. He has 7 different therapists.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
goes
wow.
3 days a week. So it may look wonderfully packaged and he may look good. It's his part-time job just going to therapy.
It is still a struggle.
Yeah.
You know,
That's important to point out because people see that and they think, oh, how come I can't do it? It seems so easy.
What I love about stories like this is while somebody else is going through their own journey, you can pull things out of it. He said, feelings aren't facts.
I love that, too.
Then he also said, you can't heal and hide at the same time.
You pulled out my favorite quotes.
That's some heavy stuff right there.
Boom.